Welcome to the Wretched Hive Cantina, where we discuss alternative formats in Star Wars Unlimited. Today's mission briefing: everything you need to know about building your first deck in the Twin Suns format. There are several official rules you must follow when playing Twin Suns. First and foremost, you get to play two different leaders. The leaders may have the same name, but not be copies, and their starting sides must share either the heroism or villainy aspect. You still select only one base. Starting in set 4, your deck is going to consist of a minimum of 80 cards and can only contain one copy of each card unless the card text states otherwise. Some rules differ from other formats. In Twin Suns, you have 3 counters: the initiative, blast, and plan. And players may not choose to pass as an action. Eliminating a player heals your base 5 damage, and once a player is eliminated, the current phase continues until all actions have been taken, and then the game ends. The winner is the player with the most remaining health on their base. Players share the victory in the event of a tie. There are other considerations when building your deck. Is your playgroup competitive or more casual? Are there any house rules banning certain cards? Or maybe you want to try and build a deck using only common cards. These all could drastically change your decision on what strategies and cards you use. Most importantly, Twin Suns is meant to be a fun format. When I'm building a Twin Suns deck, the first thing I do is pick out my leaders. I look for leaders in 2 different aspects that have synergy with their abilities. I also like to have leaders that deploy within 1 turn of each other, but it's even sweeter when they deploy on the same turn. Picking my base comes down to the 2 remaining aspects, because I like to go for 3 colors to allow for a larger card pool to choose from. Building on a curve is important. You want to have cheap units so you have stuff to play early, but also want to include those late game bombs to help take home the victory. With an 80 card deck, you'll want at least 17 turn 1 plays to give yourself a high chance of having one in your starting hand. You'll want plenty of 3 and 4 cost cards as well to have plays for the next few turns. Expect to get up to about 8 resources before you enter the endgame, so avoid putting too many overly expensive cards in your deck you won't be able to afford. Units are your bread and butter, and you want to make sure you have plenty. Try to include about 25 to 35 ground units. Because there are twice as many ground units as space, expect to only find 20 to 30 space units to fit into your deck. You'll likely want about 15 to 20 events to fill out your deck, and a sprinkle of upgrades as you see fit. If your leader synergizes with a card type, you'll want to include more of that type to make sure you can reliably trigger their abilities. Winning in Twin Suns isn't just about eliminating your opponents. It's about having the most health on your base at the end of the turn after someone is eliminated. For this reason, the 2 strongest keywords in Twin Suns are Sentinel and Restore. Sentinels are great in stopping people from hitting your base at all, and Restore is great for gaining that base health back after you've taken a hit. Prioritize these in your deck when it makes sense. If you think you will see lots of Sentinels, Saboteurs are the perfect counter. I always make sure to have a few Saboteur units, or ways to give units Saboteurs within my deck. Ambush is another very strong mechanic in all formats, and can allow you to get value from a unit before it gets defeated. Smuggle can also give you more options to best utilize your resources, as you will sometimes find in a singleton format you don't have the best cards in hand for the moment. Piloting is a new keyword that adds flexibility to units, allowing them to instead be played as upgrades. But since they need something to pilot, you'll want to make sure you include plenty of vehicles in your deck. You'll want to avoid these strategies in Twin Suns. Combos with 3 or more cards will be unlikely with only 1 copy of each card in your deck. Heavily upgrading a single unit leaves you susceptible to removal. 3 opponents, each with 80 card decks, makes it difficult to empty deck any of them. Bounties are easily claimed by other players, wasting your resources to further someone else's board state. And while some control cards are worth including, do not try to control everyone's board. Thank you for sitting down at the Wretched Hive Cantina and listening to our take on building your first Twin Suns deck. And if you want to join us in our dive deeper into alternative formats in Star Wars Unlimited, subscribe to the channel and keep an eye out for upcoming videos.